Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ordinary Talk. I'm Jeff. So, hope everybody had a great weekend. Really nice here. We had a couple of small showers, but in between the showers, it was like really sunny out and the temperatures like in the high 70s, low 80s. Beautiful day here in Maine. So I hope you get much the same where you are. So anyway, I got up, checked my news in the morning like I always do, and I see that overnight, last night, Trump was having a fit. And what was he having a fit about? The upcoming debate on September the 10th. Apparently, he's thinking about backing out again, okay? And this is funny because, see, the Republicans have been bashing Kamala and saying, when are you going to debate? When are you going to debate? Well, you see, them saying that shows they haven't been paying attention, because the date has already been agreed to, okay? It's just he's not going to be debating Biden, the president, anymore. It's going to be Kamala. But at first, he didn't want to do that. He was mad that they swapped candidates. So he said, no, I'm going to do it. Okay. Then he said, okay, I'll do it. And now he's saying, no, I don't think I'll do it. Don't go to, look, guys, MAGA, don't pester Kamala about this debate problem. Talk to your guy. He's the one that's making it a problem. He can't decide whether to shit or get off the pot. Jesus, he's the one that's waffling around, doesn't know what to do, because he fucking knows. He knows he's not going to win that debate, okay? Kamala outstrips him intelligence-wise by a fucking light year, all right? Trump's got nothing. His guilty verdicts that he got earlier this year, is going to be on the mind of Kamala when she enters that debate. She's going to hurl that at him, or maybe not. Maybe she figures all the voters are already aware of this, and she'll find a different angle in which to reveal his worst characteristics, okay? Maybe that's what it'll be, and for those of us who don't know Trump, that might come as a shock to some of the people watching at home or in the audience, if there's going to be an audience, okay? The thing of it is that those of us who do know Trump, okay, will be, not surprised when he resorts to name-calling and mudslinging, and really and won't offer any policy that's really his own, that he'll enact or try to accomplish while he is president, okay? So, the debate really is not going to be so much about intelligence. I think is going to be so much about, Kamala pushing him so he'll reveal himself again, embarrass his party again, as he does at every rally, okay? As some people ask me, why do you hate so much? As if I have no reason at all to hate this man, okay? If you have to ask that question, then obviously you're not paying attention. All right? I mean, you guys hate Kamala all the damn time, and yet we can't understand why, because she's out there, advocating for you. She's out there saying, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat or independent. If I become president, I'm president to everybody. That means MAGA. That means all you clowns out there that are all so interested in destroying our democracy. She's still going to represent and help you. Now, Trump, on the other hand, you know, he doesn't want to help everybody. Okay? He ain't going to say it so much, or maybe he does. Maybe he has said it at rallies, and you guys, you know, oh, okay, you know, because you think alike. But Trump's never made any pledge to be a representative of all of America. All right? He's got his favorites in mind that he's going to cater to, and everybody else is shit. So there's a reason right there why I don't like the guy. Okay? The other reasons, you know, are many. He's a rapist. He broke the law 34 times. All right? He stole documents from the National Archives that did not belong to him, president or not. You can borrow those things, but you have to return them. And if you view them, they have to be viewed in a secure area, not in your bathroom at home. Okay? Common sense. All right? Any moron who doesn't even know much about civics would know you don't walk out of the fucking National Archives with information that has to be returned any more than you can take a book out of the library without signing out for it. Okay? All right, so the thing is, he's done that. Okay? Then all the scams that he'd done in his life in the past, the fact that he hadn't paid his taxes, and then he inflated the value of things he owns so you could get big money, and then depleted it at a time when he had to pay taxes. Okay, this guy, he's always dealing from the bottom of the deck. I mean, have I said enough already? Or maybe I should add into this, you know, the fact that he misled this country, or many people in it, on the idea that COVID-19 was a hoax. And that, oh, it'll go away when the heat comes in the summer. Or if you got a problem, you can inject bleach or shove a goddamn ultraviolet light up your ass or something like that. I mean, things like that, okay? And yet, by doing that, he led over 1 million people to their deaths because they trusted him and they believed him, all right? Now, if I was a regular citizen, convince people, my neighbors across the street, when they're sick not to go get any medicine and they die from it, you know something? I could be prosecuted, you know, for having done that, for misleading them. It's happened before where, you know, there was a case here, I don't know, maybe almost a decade ago, where this girl was texting a guy who was talking about killing himself, and she was encouraging it. And guess what? She got charged too. She didn't kill the guy. He killed himself, but she didn't physically kill him, but she talked him into it. I don't know, I can't remember who the fucking girl's name was, but I always remember that case, and it just makes me think about how lots of people will do that, be vindictive on the internet by trying to talk to people and try to convince them to do crimes and stuff. That happens all the time. Okay, and I think that was like the first case where people were aware now that you can be prosecuted even if you didn't physically do something to kill somebody, or if you talk somebody into harming themselves, you can be in trouble for that too. And then let's go even further back to the fucking 80s, where this woman at a bar was gang raped at a fucking bar, and everybody who was watching it was cheering it on. Every one of them cocksuckers that was cheering it on had to go to prison for that because they encouraged the rape to go on. They didn't stop it. So here, Trump comes out and tells people all this bullshit about COVID-19, and what happens? Over 1 million people get killed. A lot of them were your fellow MAGA Republicans too. A lot of them, I remember in Florida, there was a lot of Republican talk show people down in the state of Florida who got sick and died. And they used to be on the radio all the time talking about, you know, echoing what Trump was saying, getting people to believe that, oh, it's all a hoax and everything, and then all of a sudden they got sick and they never came back. They went to the hospital, they died. Okay? But there were other MAGA Republicans who did get sick, went to the hospital, and before they died, had somebody record a message to tell to fellow Republicans, this is not a hoax, this is really happening, I am sick, I'm going to die, and you should be aware that to get a vaccination and follow the instructions of the CDC. Well, they died, and what happened? Everybody's, oh, that was a hoax. Yeah, a guy's death is a hoax. Just like Sandy Hook, that was a hoax too. All right, whenever something goes against the grain of the Republican Party that they can't stand, that embarrasses them, that makes them have to force to reevaluate their beliefs, they don't like that, you see. They don't like that. Okay, that's why they call it a hoax. It's easier just to say, oh, it's a hoax. That way you don't have to give it a second thought. All right? That's why they do that. It's for their own self-conscience. Okay? You know what I'm saying? That's why they do that. It's embarrassing. It's like when a kid gets caught with his hand in the damn cookie jar, and it says, "What were you doing?" "Oh, no, I wasn't doing anything." Defensive reaction. They know they did wrong, but they're going to lie about it until the bitter end. And when you're an adult, you'll take that lie to your grave. Okay? And if you're MAGA, yeah, that's almost a guarantee. And that's why, I like I said, I don't waste that much time talking to people who message me and try to entice me to talk to them or anything like that. I don't really do that, okay? Because, I've learned since 2016 that Trump supporters are extremely narrow-minded people. I mean, they are. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost as difficult as trying to teach a 5-year-old the concept of gravity, or trying to educate them on what friction is and stuff like. Those are concepts that's probably not going to register right off the bat, and you're going to get some strange looks and maybe some weird questions. Dealing with them is like that. But at the same time, you have to wonder, are they just saying that, but they know the truth already, but they're just being vindictive and just trying to get you into a fight, gaslight you? Is that what they're trying to do? I think a lot of times it could be that. They get sick pleasure out of just arguing with people, but they know they're on the losing end of the debate even before it starts, okay? But they just like to engage the left wing, for whatever, if it gets them off, I guess, I don't know. Because a lot of these people, they have no profile pages or something. They're just like, put up yesterday. I mean, because they do tell you how long or how old a profile page is when you look it up. It says it's been there for X amount of days or something. You could say, okay, this was just put up recently, and it just happened to start right when after this convention. You know what I'm saying? You can always tell. And as soon as the election is over, those pages will just up and vanish, okay? They won't even be there anymore. And so these are just trolls. That's what you call a troll. They're just there to do these hit jobs on the, go by and sling mud and disappear, okay? They're not there for actual debate. They don't want to know anything. They just want to gaslight you. They just want to piss you off, And, I ain't so young these days where I get really energized by that kind of shit, okay? And I would prefer it, if you really do have a point to make or something like that, make your point, okay? If you start off with me on a combative footing, you're going to get a response in kind to what you started, all right? So if you don't want that, and you actually want me to talk to you intelligently, then come to me intelligently, and we'll talk. But if not, don't waste my time, okay? Don't waste your time. If you want to watch the videos or read my comments on it, that's up to you. That's really up to you. I'm not forcing anybody. Like I said, I don't do this for money. I don't do this for anyone's entertainment. I'm doing this for me. Whether you believe that or not, I don't care. I really don't care. Because, I guess it would be hard to tell the truth to a MAGA these days, because everything to them is a lie. I guess when they open the window and they see a sunny day, to them, when they're looking at it, it's raining and thunder and lightning, That's sad. When you can be brainwashed so bad that everything that you see is actually, in your mind, opposite. That's too damn much of that. So anyway, to go back to what I was saying, Trump is changing from orange to yellow, okay, because he's afraid of debating Kamala Harris. And J.D. Vance, I don't think J.D. Vance really would want to debate Governor Walz any more than Trump wants to debate Kamala, because Governor Walz has got he's got decades over this guy in experience politically. All right, J.D. Vance, he's just there to be the background guy for Trump. And Trump doesn't really care much about J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance spent a good time last year insulting the hell out of this guy. You know, and so, Vance, whatever ideas he has is coming straight from Trump or the Heritage Foundation. They're not really his own. All right. So it's going to be hard for him to defend those positions, especially if he doesn't really believe in them himself. So when he gets into a debate with Governor Walz, he's going to have a tough time just defending his own ideas, or somebody else's ideas, I should say. He's going to have a hard time making his case. All right, and it's going to show. It's really going to show. Governor Walz knows what he wants to do, because he's already done it in his home state, and it's worked well for him. Okay, now if the right wing wants to attack him for his military record, good luck with that, because it's not going to work either. Okay, if you want to attack him for being a coach, good luck with that, because that's not going to work either. Everybody loved this guy. Okay, you just force yourself to sit for weeks listening to testimony from person after person after person after person, telling them just how good of a man he is, you know. And even though it wouldn't put a dent in your head, you're not going to find anybody unless you pay them to say anything bad about this guy, you know. And I'm sure the Republicans have been searching for somebody out there to say something bad about Governor Walz. I'm sure they've been doing their footwork there big time, you know, offering big money to people out there. You know, they always deal from the bottom of the deck, these people here, you know, and so they're going to behave true to form. So let's go to a commercial break here. We'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
It's never the Republicans who ever bring up race.
Is she Indian or is she black? She was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
This woman, this disaster whose only qualification was having a vagina and the right skin color.
Either Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl.
She's never earned or won anything.
Pimp's trying to find a woman that's weak. You know what I mean, man?
jive turkey? That's not how I remember Kamala Harris speaking. That sounded a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more jive to me.
Kamala Harris is a JV player. She is a DEI pick.
She was a DEI hire.
The DEI vice president.
She would be the queen of DEI if she were elected.
Affirmative action. You're selected because the melanin in the content of your skin.
Is it possible that she's getting whiter?
Whiter?
Yeah.
I think they've been.
Have you seen her lately? Like, it is weird. It's like she's like a biracial werewolf. Just.
I've noticed she started wearing.
Straightening. She's a DEI hire, right? She's a woman. She's colored, therefore she's got to be good.
So racist. I don't.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom. The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Welcome to the Trump 2024 convention, brought to you by Project 2025. This week in the horrible city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you'll see the best of the Trump Project 2025 party. It's a bold vision for a bright future. With Trump Project 2025, you'll love how new tariffs will make everything more expensive and set off runaway inflation. We know you'll appreciate paying for the big tax cut our struggling billionaires need. When you seniors are done freeloading, check out Project 2025's plan to end Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. So get out of that nursing home bed and get back to work. And ladies, this convention has so much in store for you. With Project 2025, you'll learn how good you'll have it in the kitchen. Girls, if your marriage isn't working out, you'll need Project 2025's helpful tips to keep the romance alive, even if he's abusive, because we're getting rid of divorce. And if Mr. Wrong gets you pregnant, welcome to motherhood, because we've ended Roe v. Wade and we're going to criminalize birth control. And minorities, well, you didn't need those silly voting rights anyway. For you Jews, Muslims, Mormons, and other fake religions, you'll get a head start on learning America is a Christian nation. Project 2025 is Donald Trump's plan for your future, and it couldn't be any brighter.
Project 2025 Bright Future Guarantee applies to white evangelical Christian men only. Other conditions may apply. Offer not valid in a functioning republic.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime. I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Here I wanted to read to you in the last segment here, but I went off on a tangent. So I'm going to read this to you now. This is about Trump's issue here with the debate. This is from the New York Times, entitled "Trump Tussles with Harris Over the ABC Debate." At the weigh-in before a big bout, prize fighters often taunt their opponents in an effort to try to psych them out. So it goes with the presidential pugilist set to meet next month in the city of Rocky Balboa. The Harris and Trump campaigns squabbled on Monday over the ground rules of their coming ABC News debate in Philadelphia, with each side trying to score political points off the other. And within hours, the Trump campaign found its argument undermined by an unlikely foil, Mr. Trump himself. The tussle began on Sunday when former President Donald Trump blasted ABC in a social media post suggesting that the network's anchors and executives were biased against him and threatening, not for the first time, to pull out of the event. Quote, "I ask, why would I do the debate against Kamala Harris on that network?" unquote, Mr. Trump wrote. Then on Monday, Ms. Harris's campaign went public with an effort to change one of the agreed-upon conditions for the debate, that each candidate's microphone be muted when it isn't their turn to speak. Quote, "We have told ABC and other networks seeking to host a possible October debate that we believe both candidates' mics should be live throughout the full broadcast," unquote, Brian Fallon, a spokesman for the Harris campaign, told Politico. He added a dig for good measure, quote, "Our understanding is that Trump's handlers prefer the muted microphone because they don't think their candidate can act presidential for 90 minutes on his own," unquote. Jason Miller, a spokesman for the Trump campaign, shot back, quote, "ABC offered the exact same debate rules as CNN, and we accepted, as did the Harris camp," unquote. He wrote, referring to the CNN debate between Mr. Trump and President Biden in June, when the muted microphones rule was in effect. Mr. Miller tossed in a gib of his own, quote, "Now, after the Harris campaign has begun debate prep, they're clearly concerned about what they're seeing from Harris's performance," unquote. But when Mr. Trump was asked about the microphone issue by reporters in Virginia, he seemed to back away from the fierce objections of his team. He told members of the news media that it, quote, "doesn't matter to me," unquote, whether the microphones were muted, adding, quote, "I'd rather have it probably on, but the agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time," unquote. Mr. Trump also said that ABC should be, quote, "shut out," unquote, of hosting the debate, while adding he was still, quote, "thinking about," unquote, whether he should participate. For its part, ABC News declined to comment. When Mr. Biden was the Democratic nominee, his team pushed hard for the muted microphones rule, arguing that Mr. Trump could not be trusted to stay silent when Mr. Biden was speaking. But Ms. Harris was not in charge of the campaign at that point. Her camp's reversal on the muting rule seems intended to underscore reports that the vice president's rise in the polls had rattled Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump has furiously denied those reports. One of Ms. Harris's standout moments in her 2020 vice presidential debate came when Mike Pence, on a live microphone, seemed to interrupt her, prompting a memorable rejoinder from Ms. Harris, quote unquote, "I'm speaking." Mr. Trump has called for his own variations on the debate rules, urging Ms. Harris to participate in a debate sponsored by Fox News, quote, with a full arena audience, unquote. For decades, the televised forums were organized by the Nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates, but this year, the commission was sidelined when Mr. Biden and Mr. Trump agreed to negotiate directly with television networks and to hold the events earlier than the commission had scheduled. Candidates agreed to a debate on CNN on June 27th and a debate on ABC News on September the 10th. The exact format and ground rules of the ABC debate have been in flux, but both campaigns have broadly agreed to a format similar to that of the CNN debate that took place between Biden and Trump. More than 51 million Americans watched that debate live, by far the biggest audience of any political event this year, a sign of how consequential the televised forums can be in a tight presidential race. ABC's debate is scheduled to last for 90 minutes and be held at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. The ABC anchors David Muir and Lindsay Davis are the moderators. Ms. Harris and Mr. Trump have never debated face-to-face. Ms. Harris's team has signaled it is open to another debate in October, but no plans have been set. Several television networks are jockeying for the right to host that debate if it does ultimately occur. And, you know, it seems very important for MAGA that these debates happen. And so why aren't they out there trying to convince Trump to go ahead and go through with it? You know, why are they letting, you know, Trump sit there and try to nitpick the details of the debate, you know, and then turn around after talking about the details, says, well, I haven't really made up my mind if I want to do it or not. Okay, you know, politics isn't, you know, a buffet. All right, you can't just have it your way. Okay, it ain't Burger King. It's not a buffet. If you want to step into the political arena, you got to be there, ready, armed for bear. If you want to win, then you fucking do the damn job to win. All right, that's how it works. You don't want to debate Kamala, then that makes you look weak. Voters don't like weakness. Americans never liked weakness in this country. And if there's any damn thing that's going to cause Trump to lose support, it's going to be the sign of weakness on this man. He's afraid of a woman, you know, and he hates women. All right, he hates black people. He hates women. That's why his wife doesn't even love him anymore. Okay, he hates women. He looks at them as sex objects only. You know, and if he tries to make the moves on Kamala, her husband's going to come up there and sock him one in the mouth. Okay, so he's not going to have his way with her. And you know, I feel like, you know, America is tired of Trump. We really are. We want this done and over with. I mean, we actually want this fucking election today. If we could have it done today, we would do it today, because we know Kamala would win. We want this guy out of the fucking picture and back on in court answering for his crimes. I mean, that's what we want. You can't, you know, you can't say that you're for justice, you're for the American way, that you're a patriot, but then you're the head of your own organization is the biggest criminal in this country. All right? That's the most hypocritical position to be in as a MAGA supporter. Okay? They've painted an image of Trump that is so opposite of what he is, it's unbelievable. Okay? It really is unbelievable how they look at this man. You say, they can't be watching the news. They can't be watching the fucking news. They look at this guy and they think he's good. You know? They think he's a good man. They don't see what everybody else is seeing, and that's the majority. The majority of the country is seeing this man for what he is, but this little group of fucking maggots, okay, they see this guy in a whole different light. I mean, they probably see pink elephants around this guy, too. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, they're probably drunk most of the time. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me either, okay? But their RNC convention was a fucking joke. You know, Trump sat through the whole goddamn thing himself, watching this thing in there, making sure that everybody did their thing in accordance to how he plans it out. You know, that everybody kisses his ring while they're on the stage. Okay, it was a controlled event. And Trump being the one holding the controls. Okay, Kamala, on the other hand, she wasn't there the whole time. She was in another, where the Republicans had their convention. What city was that? I can't remember, but she was there, and the Democrats had that same auditorium where the Republicans were. She was doing an event there for day 3 of the Democrat convention. She wasn't there. Walz wasn't always there. I mean, because, you know, they had 2 things they had to do. They had to continue to campaign, and then they had to show up at the convention a little bit, so they were back and forth. All right, so it was a tiring thing for them. But they didn't have to sit there and make sure that that everybody kissed their ass appropriately. Okay, these people came out, said what they had to say to the audience, to the people, to everybody that was there, not just to Kamala or Governor Walz. Okay, not just to them, to everybody. They were talking to everybody. All right, everyone's concerns were being addressed there. Even the people that were outside protesting, you know, the Palestinians and stuff, Americans, they were outside protesting. They were even included into the conversation inside the convention hall. Okay, so nobody was being ignored in this. There was even people who were trying to speak to MAGA, because they knew MAGA would be watching. At least some people would in MAGA would be watching that. Okay, so some of these former Republicans, or they're still Republicans, but they don't consider themselves part of the MAGA movement, because that to them is not Republican. Okay, some of these folks come out and spoke to them, you know, telling them their experiences with working with that nutcase there, Trump, okay, and how they were betrayed by him and felt that he was taking that party off a cliff and they didn't want to be part of it. But they didn't want to abandon anybody that was left behind, okay, to the tender mercies of Donald Trump. They wanted to make sure that these people realized that, hey, there's a home here for you too in the Democrat Party, because they share a lot of the same things that we share. We not agree on everything policy-wise, but their American roots are in the same soil as ours. Okay, they care about this country the same way we do. All right. Although I don't really see much of that from MAGA, but maybe there are some in MAGA that do, but you know, they still haven't been disillusioned yet by Trump. But to say that you know, all of MAGA has love for this country, no, they don't. They don't. They haven't. I mean, anybody that would go and do what they did on January 6th there to the Capitol, you can't love a country and then do what you did that day. Okay, that's the biggest insult to your claim to patriotism that there could possibly be. You lost that privilege to call yourself patriotic. Okay, I don't even care if you're a veteran. If you're a veteran and you went and did that day, you lost your fucking respect in my eyes for having served your country. I don't care what war you was in. You know, if you went and did that, the oath you took, you violated that oath. You should be punished for that. I don't care. You know, even as a veteran, you're still obligated to hold that oath. You know, so don't tell me about, I served my country, and then turn around and kill 5 police officers. Okay, I'm sorry. Even the VA is not going to cover your ass for that. All right, forget it. You're going to serve time just like any other man. But the thing is that with the Mike Lindells and the Giulianis and all these other freakazoids that inhabit the MAGA party, they make it very, very hard for them to argue the case that Trump is a patriot, that he cares about law and order, that he cares about you. Okay, I'm sorry, but I haven't heard him say anything like that in any rally that's ever been recorded and uploaded here on YouTube. Okay, if anything, the only person that should be in the audience cheering him on is Hannibal Lecter. Okay, really, because he seems to have a lot more in common with Hannibal Lecter than anybody that attends his rallies. He loves this guy, you know. even though Anthony Hopkins had a few choice words to say to Trump about him using that character, the thing of it is, you know, Trump doesn't care. I mean, he was caught using some of Taylor Swift's music at one of his rallies, and now there's this fight going on between her and him because she never authorized that. All right, so you know what I'm saying? This guy doesn't play by any fucking rules of decency, rules of law, rules of morality. Anything that's a rule, he just pisses on, okay? He don't care. He doesn't care. His whole life, he's been able to dodge bullets because of, you know, family name. You know, even though his father was arrested at a KKK rally or something, you know, way back. Okay, it doesn't matter if he's got a family history being tied in with the Klan. It doesn't fucking matter. Okay, this guy's had money. The family had money, and with that money, they used it to cover their ass. Trump used it to cover his ass. He's still doing it today. All right, now he wants to be president because, hey, he can really cover his ass there if he gets that job. And so when people tell you Trump is not about you, he's about himself, believe it. Because nothing that he ever did in his life ever benefited anybody but himself. You know, ask the 1 million people that died from COVID if they thought Trump was actually there for them. Okay? You know, unfortunately can't speak to the dead, but I think being dead from COVID, and a lot of them fellow Republicans who listened to Trump, says a lot right there as to how he feels about, you know, betrayal. It doesn't bother him at all. He can betray his country, and it doesn't bother him at all. You know, he can go to, you know, France, you know, Normandy Beach and all that, and say, oh, these people were suckers and losers. And yet, you got veterans in MAGA that think he's the greatest thing, and yet he just insulted you. And you he called you a sucker and a loser, and you still support him. John McCain would slap you silly for that. You know, when you guys swift-boated him when he tried to run for president, okay, calling him, oh, he wasn't patriotic, and yet you are going to defend a man who just called all veterans suckers and losers, and you say that's okay for him to do that. Well, maybe that's what John McCain should have done, right? Maybe you would have voted for John McCain if he'd have said everybody was a sucker and a loser, right? I don't know. But you guys, you really have a bizarre way of reasoning things, all right? It's okay for Trump to call you a sucker and a loser, all right? But somebody else, you know, tries to, you know, somebody else who earned, you know, the privilege of being called a veteran and survived what he survived, and he tries to run for president, and you guys don't like him because he's not always on your side all the time, because he's too moderate. No. He's not a patriot. He's not a veteran. He's a sucker. He's a loser. Okay? You can't have it both ways. You know? Either a veteran is a sucker and a loser, okay, or they're not. So if you accuse dead veterans of being suckers and losers, then you veterans in MAGA are just as much a sucker and a loser as all those people that died on Normandy, okay? Get that in your head. And if you're comfortable with that, then please go vote for Trump so you can get more of it. And if it pisses you off, then you know what you have to do. All right? Jesus. You know, it's a bizarre population that we have in this country, you know, and the problems that we have in this country aren't really race related if you think about it. It's all about political ideology and where you stand that's causing the trouble. You got the conservative evangelical Christians who want to turn this country into a church with a cross on the top above the flag. Okay, and yet when they pledge allegiance, one nation under God, indivisible, okay, they've been dividing this country for years. You know, since even before I was born, they've been systematically working at this country dividing and conquering, and doing this so many times that it's gotten, the divisions are so wide now that you could drive a freight train through. Okay, it's insane what they've done. Okay, indivisible, right? Bullshit. And you want it to be under God. Well, if God is supposed to keep your country united, then you're working against the will of God, right? According to what you know, because remember, it was, you know, under God wasn't part of the original Pledge of Allegiance. That was put in during the Cold War, okay? Because you were trying to distinguish ourselves from Soviet Union. Okay? Even though we had more in common with them than you want to care to believe. But the thing is that, you know, you can't have it your way by saying we're religious and yet you're going to piss all over your own Christianity by acting benevolent or, you know, malevolent and acting contrary to what you think you stand for. All right? You can't say you're Christian. I mean, every day you guys are breaking some rule that's already in the Bible that says you shouldn't do something. You're doing it. Trump goes, I could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and kill him and I'd get away with it. Kind of goes against thou shalt not kill, you know. But you support him. You know, but yet if you went to church and one of your priests said something like that, you'd probably have a problem with that, wouldn't you? I think you would. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe that'd be a good test to try to have a priest or somebody say that in church. If I stand outside and shoot somebody, I could get away with it. What the parishioners would think. But they heard Trump say that, and it didn't register. They didn't think anything of it. But yet they think he's being led by God somehow. I mean, some of these MAGA people that were questioned at Trump rallies were questioned by young people who want to find out how these people think. Ask them these questions about Trump, and some of the answers you get back, they kind of they cast a divinity of him. You know, they think he's something, you know, sent from God. You know, maybe not in so many words, but they really look at him in a light that's way more than, you know, make him larger than life. When he's really a small man with small hands and a small brain and a small, you know, okay, he's really a very small man. Okay, and he doesn't deserve all that adulation that his supporters give him every day. He has not earned their loyalty. He certainly hasn't earned the loyalty of the majority of this country. In fact, he's earned disdain and hatred. So when you're mad at me for being so hateful to Trump, just understand, it's not just me that's mad at him. Okay, you're looking at millions of American people out there who are equally and maybe even more so than me at him, who don't want to see that man back in the White House, who thinks he should be in prison, not in the White House, because he owes this country a debt that he did, you know. He owes this country. He owes us not to be president, but to be in prison, to answer for his crimes. That's a debt he hasn't paid us yet. And until he does, you know, he's not fit to be forgiven. He's not fit to be anything except a prisoner. And that's really the only path, the just path for him. And I think that the fact that Kamala, I keep saying Kamala, but it's Kamala, the fact that she's edging out ahead of him ought to be a sign to you religious people out there who think that God's hand guides this country. If that's the case, and you really believe that, then wouldn't it be true that maybe God's hand is behind Kamala, pushing her into the White House instead of Trump? Maybe you need to evaluate your beliefs here. I mean, or maybe you just pick and choose, like you're going to a buffet, what you want to believe and not believe. That's out of the Bible. Okay, I don't know. That's up to you. But the thing of it is like I said, if you really believe that God's hand is on this country and that he's guiding us to a better nation, then obviously everything that's happening right now politically is by design, by his will. And who the hell are you to defy the will of God? You know, think about that. So, anyway, that's it for today. And I hope you have a great rest of the week, and subscribe, comment, and share. And please, keep your ear open to health-related matters, and, you know, treat each other kind out there. Enjoy the weather. Try to learn something, you know, from the past that might apply to today. Educate yourself. There's, when you learn something new every day, you get that much stronger mentally, and I encourage people to do that. So take care. I'll talk to you guys later, so take care.